Hey there, so I made a video recently where I covered the modes of the melodic minor scale, and somebody asked me, I think his name is Claudio, asked me about the voicings that I was using to create that melodic minor sound, and also if I could elaborate on how to use the melodic minor scales to play over a whole tune. He had seen a video where somebody did that over Stella by Starlight, which I think is a very common thing to do. So it got me thinking, is there another tune that I can use? Because I think Stella by Starlight is kind of overused in this regard. So I thought about Blue and Green is a good tune to do this. So I'll try to demonstrate how you can use the melodic minor scale in only one voicing and one scale, as it were, to play over Blue and Green. So I'll make a backing track, and in order to not clash with the melodic minor sound, I'm gonna use more triads than four-part voicings. So I'm gonna use like open triads and voicings that don't clash with the melodic minor voicing that I'm gonna apply later on. So I'll show you what I mean. Bear with me if I'm a little bit out of tune. I've just changed strings. So now I need to find a voicing that defines that melodic minor sound, which is if you take the major chord from the third degree of a melodic minor scale, you get a major 7 sharp 5 chord. So that I can play over this whole tune. If I treat every chord as some kind of melodic minor chord. So the first chord is a G minor. It's actually not a G melodic minor chord, right? It's just a melodic minor or just a minor chord, but we can kind of stretch the harmony. It always kind of works. So I treat all the minor chords as a minor major 7 chord, and then the dominant chord as altered or Lydian flat 7, depending on the function of the chord. And the major 7 chords I'm going to treat as major 7 sharp 5, which might seem like it's going to be a huge stretch of things, but it's kind of straightforward. I'll show you what I mean. I'm just going to play a melodic minor voicing, meaning a major 7 sharp 5 voicing over each of these chords. I'm going to do it in root position so that you really get a feel for it. So the first would be B flat, major 7 sharp 5 over G. So here we go, I'll show you what I mean. C sharp or D flat over A, F, B, and E flat over both. B flat again. F, I can do this as arpeggios too, right? it's a very mysterious and kind of open, nice sound, and I'm obviously overdoing it now. It's a little bit too much, but it's a good way to get that sound into your ears and your system. I talk about that a lot, that you need to get this into your ears so that when this chord shows up, you can hear it and your fingers know where to go to get that sound. And of course, I'm doing this very basic right now. Like, I played all these voicings in root position and in a closed position. So it's kind of a beginner to just move it around like that. You need to find the inversions, right? So this is actually a closed position. We usually do drop voicings, right? So where would it be here? Those are the inversions of the major 7 sharp 5 chord. Could also be a major 7 flat 5, because this scale gives you that option that it could be a major 7 flat 5 chord, and that actually works better sometimes, especially for the altered chords, I think, because then you get the flat 7, which you kind of need. So I'll do the same thing with major 7 flat 5 voicings. Some inversions. Idea. So now let's listen to the scales. If I just play the scales over the chords, so from the melodic minor, from the root of the melodic minor. I'm gonna use this book again, the Advancing Guitarist by Mick Goodrick, for some help here. He categorizes the scales in 4 different types. So derivative, parallel, Lydian chromatic, and common tone. So this first one would be what he calls derivative, I guess. So the actual where I derived the scale from, which melodic minor scale. So the root of the actual melodic minor scale that I'm using to create the mode. I'll show you what I mean, so I think you'll understand it. So the first would obviously be G minor melodic minor, G melodic minor, B flat melodic minor, and D, A flat, C, G, B flat, sort of F. Then you try to improvise with these scales. tune here. Hang on. So let me consult my book here. Yeah, next would be parallel, meaning I just play the scale from the root of that chord. Okay, so the first would be starting on G. So now let's do that. The first scale would be G melodic minor, right? A alter. D, D flat, Lydian flat 7, C, F Lydian flat 7, B flat augmented, okay? Then the third way to treat the scale was to think of it as a Lydian chromatic, which I think he's referring to the famous book, The Lydian Chromatic Concept or something, where the author, his name is Russell, what's his name? I can't remember his first name, but he argues that the root of a scale or a mode or a key is actually the Lydian note. So if you want to delve into that, I'll recommend checking that book out. I haven't really looked too much. Okay, so now that I've done all that, just to confuse things, I'm gonna play over this tune without using melodic minor. So for the dominant chords, I'm gonna play a mixo flat 2 flat 6, or a mixo. And for the minors, I'm just gonna play other minor scales like regular minor or Dorian, and just a regular Lydian for the major chords. So just to give you a feel of the difference between the two sounds, basically. So here is blue and green without using melodic minor. So see if I can do that. We'll see. Oh. Okay, so you get a more traditional sound. It sounds more like kind of like a flamenco player would play over a standard, like, or a tune like that, when you avoid the jazz minor sound, right? I like both approaches. The only place was kind of funny was the A or the E altered, because it suggests really an altered sound. So because you have the G in the melody and everything, so that sounded a little bit funny to me there. And yeah, that was that. I hope you got something out of it, and don't forget to check out my Patreon page. And I'll be back with more books and lessons. So I shall see you next time.